My dear Northeastern Conference family, it is my joy and pleasure today to present to you Dr. Warner Richards, who will present to you some of the plans we have for the upcoming school year. We believe here in Northeastern that Christian education has eternal value and ramifications. As such, we've been working very hard behind the scenes to make our system much more affordable and accessible to all. Please receive the presentation this day, and do not hesitate to send your questions to us. Reach out to us and partner with us as we make plans to make Christian education much better than it has ever been. And I thank you for your support and for your prayers in this process.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jules. Dear brothers and sisters, it is my task to present to you the Northeastern Conference Administration Education Reset. This plan consists of three main principles. Number one is to redress. We are redressing the way how education has been envisioned and delivered in the Northeastern Conference. Number two, reset. We are resetting the way how education in our Northeastern Conference territory is delivered. And number three, rebuild. There are many educational systems out there, but I can assure you, my brothers and sisters, that there is no other system in the world that does what the Adventist Christian educational system does, which is we are building character for now and for eternity. Study after study have shown the efficacy of the Adventist educational system. As a matter of fact, there is a study that was later turned into a documentary. It is known as the documentary film from PBS television that explores the extraordinary story of Adventist education from the producers of The Adventists and also The Adventist number 2. This documentary slash study was released in 2014 and viewed by approximately 40 to 50 million people. The study that gave birth to this documentary found important facts that I think you should know. What it found was that in achievement test results, children who goes through the Adventist Christian educational system does better than all other children in all other educational systems. As a matter of fact, what it found was that students in the Adventist schools outperformed the national average and standardized tests, both in all subjects and also for all grade levels. As a matter of fact, Ellen White tells us in the book Education, page 13, that our view and ideas of education take too narrow of a view. It takes too much of a low range, that we don't see beyond what we have received. In other words, she says that our educational system educates not just the individual on an intellectual level, but it educates the individual on a holistic level, involving both the mind, the body, and the spiritual development. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6 tells us, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he or she is old, he or she will not depart from it. What that text is telling us, basically, brothers and sisters, is that whatever we implant in the mind of a child during their critical developmental ages will remain with them forever. In fact, science has now proven that that's a fact. Developmental science have learned that a person's worldview begins to develop at 15 to 18 months of age, and it is fully developed at age 13. So think of it. Your child's worldview began its development approximately when they were 15 to 18 months of age, and it completed its development at age 13. These are the critical years that are encompassed by our educational system. If we don't take the opportunity to educate our children in these critical ages of their lives, someone else will do it. And they will be forming a worldview that is not according to Christ. The Adventist philosophy of education tells us that the Seventh-day Adventist Church recognizes that God, the creator and sustainer of the earth and the entire universe, is the source of knowledge and wisdom. That's the holistic approach to education. Because God is the God of science. God is the God of math. God is the God of art. God is the God of literature. God is the God of everything, of all source of knowledge. Therefore, the Seventh-day Adventist Church operates a school system to ensure that our children and youth may receive a balanced physical, mental, moral, spiritual, and vocational education. Now, education as a system, beloved, it's a legacy in time. And I want to propose to you that the Adventist educational system is a legacy in time that you are giving to your children. Why? Your child will spend 5 days a week in school, 6 hours minimum every day. That represents 180 days a year. And they will be doing that for a minimum of 13 years. Now, if you add up all the time spent just using the minimum time, which is 6 hours a day, then at the end of 13 years, your child will be spending 14,040 hours before a teacher that is influencing their mindset, their worldview, and the way how they see themselves and the universe. If that person that you place your child before is not someone who is of a worldview of Christ and is not integrating every subject taught with the vision of God, your child will be forming a worldview and a mindset that is not according to Christ. There was another study called the Value Genesis Study. This study found some very interesting things, but also it found some stuff that really and truly it's just mind-boggling. I want to share just 2 of the findings from that study. It found that after the home, the Adventist classroom is the most significant influence in the life of a child. Another thing that it found was that by instruction and example, the Adventist teacher is the greatest influence and essential to developing or instilling religious values in our children. So given the importance of this, since the stakes are that high, it is imperative for us as an organization. It is imperative for the Northeastern Conference, its administrators, its board of directors, and all who are responsible for decision making in our conference to then redress, reset, and rebuild our system. Let me share a few things that prompted the initiative that we're now speaking about. The Northeastern Conference school system in the year 2007, 2008 had 2,000 students registered in our system, and we had 139 teachers. Today, in the school year of 2021-2022, we have 898 students in our system and 151 teachers. Our enrollment has decreased to less than half in approximately 14 years. But our personnel, our work staff has increased. Now, what this has caused is that it has caused an unsustainable level of indebtedness that has been accumulated by the different individual schools around our territory. In the book, Testimonies to the Church, the servant of the Lord wrote, and she said that we should shun debt like we will shun disease. And she went on to say that we must refuse to run the school if we have not learned how to run the school on a paying basis to avoid indebtedness year after year. She goes on to say that if there is debt that has been accumulated in any of our schools, that a halt must be called by those who are in charge until a system is devised where we can do so without debt. One great philosopher said that you never change things by fighting the existing reality, but to change something, you must build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So that's what we are endeavoring to do. We must build and rebuild a sustainable model that can deliver the promise of the Adventist educational system. So what is involved in the change that is being proposed, or I should say, the change that is already in the making? Number one, it is important to note that no change of the core values or philosophy of Adventist Christian education is being considered. We are not changing our core, but what we are changing is a systemic change. We are enacting, I should say, a systemic change as opposed to a values change. Number two, we are changing the way the system operates. Number three, we are changing the way the product of Adventist Christian education is delivered, promoted, prioritized in order for our family and congregations to receive what they really deserve. Number four, no longer will our schools function as semi-independent, localized entities, but as constituent institutions instead. Number five, all churches within the Northeastern Conference territory are now constituent churches of our educational system. Number six, to achieve this vision, we must consolidate, reallocate resources, and initiate a rebuilding process. Now, to redress, reset, and rebuild, we must consolidate. Consolidation should be understood as the merging of chronically low-enrolled schools that are financially unsustainable and adversely impacting student outcomes and quality of services provided. So the criteria that are used has been used to merge schools are four. Number one, chronically low enrolled. Number 2, financial and sustainability. Number 3, debt levels. And number 4, geographical location. Therefore, beloved, as we reallocate human resources, the idea is to assign the best teaching talent and placing high-quality professionals into consolidated, targeted schools. As we do this process, we must rebuild at the same time. Rebuilding means a deliberate focus on early childhood education. Schools whose students have been transitioned into consolidated schools will become early childhood centers. So no school will be empty. Basically, what I'm saying is, what the Northeastern Conference administration is saying is, we are not closing schools, but we are consolidating schools, and buildings that are affected by this will be transformed into early childhood centers. The question has been asked, how shall we address governance? Well, governance will be addressed by forming a board of trustees in the geographical area of the consolidated schools and of the schools in a particular geographical area. So using the model given to us by the Constitution and bylaws of the Northeastern Conference to comprise its executive board, that same formula in a variated form will be used in order to compose the Board of Trustees that will bring assistance and help with fundraising and help with the governance of our now constituent schools. The Northeastern Conference Executive Committee voted a policy change in this other matter as well, in how we fund our educational system. All Northeastern Conference churches will contribute 2.5% from their monthly combined budget or local giving to education. This policy also includes that churches that are currently participating with a fixed amount towards education, which exceeds 2.5%, will be encouraged to continue to give that fixed amount. The idea is not to decrease our support, but to increase it by bringing in other congregations that until now were completely oblivious to the funding of our schools. The principle that shall be followed is the following, beloved. We have one school system supported by all. And that principle has been taken from the book of Acts, chapter 4 and verse 32, that says, "Now the multitude of those who believed were of one heart and one soul. Neither did anyone say any of the things that he possessed was his own, but they all had all things in common." We are coming together, uniting our resources, uniting our thoughts and ideas to support the one system that we have, our educational system. So this will entail the rebranding of our educational system. Constituency schools are now renamed and rebranded. All schools are now named as, and here it is, Northeastern Adventist Academy. That's it. All of our schools, no matter where they are located, are rebranded and renamed as Northeastern Adventist Academy. We will distinguish the different locations by the place where they are situated. For example, Northeastern Adventist Academy, Boston campus. Brockton campus, Springfield campus, Queens campus, Brooklyn campus, and you get the drift. We want individuals as they travel around the Northeastern Conference territory to see that name, Northeastern Conference Adventist Academy, and immediately they will know who they are, who we are. So in this process, we are merging the Northeastern Academy, that is known today as the Northeastern Academy in the Bronx, will merge with the until now known as the South Brooklyn Academy. They will now merge together and become one campus that will be housed in Brooklyn and will be known as the Northeastern Adventist Academy, the 9 to 12th grade. Now, they will be housed in the building that housed the until now known as the South Brooklyn Academy, but now becoming the Northeastern Adventist Academy, grades 9 to 12. It is important to note that in Brooklyn, we will have only one school. All the schools in Brooklyn are being consolidated into one campus. And that campus will be known as the Northeastern Adventist Academy, Brooklyn campus, from K to 8th grade. There are 2 buses that the conference is acquiring. Those 2 buses will service staff and students from the Bronx and Manhattan to take them to our academy in Brooklyn. In addition to that are the high school in Brooklyn. In addition to that, the second bus will bring students from Queens on Long Island to our high school in Brooklyn as well. So, beloved, as you can see, exciting things are happening now. We have one system that is supported by all of us, and all of us now will pour all our energies and finances into the one system. There is another consolidation that is happening with the schools in Queens. In Queens, we had 2 schools, one known as Linden and the other known as the Jamaica School. Now these 2 schools will be merging in one campus. They will be housed at the now known as Linden School, that will now be known as the Northeastern Adventist Academy, Queens campus. One school in the borough of Queens. The R.T. Hudson School will also merge with the Westchester, known as the Westchester Area School today. And they will comprise the one campus of the Westchester Northeastern Adventist Academy. Schools that are now not being directly affected by mergers are the schools in Long Island, the school in Fairfield, the school in Hartford, the school in Springfield, Massachusetts, the school in Boston, Massachusetts, and the school in Brockton, Massachusetts. Here is another important component that you should know. We are now moving to a restructuring of our tuition. Our tuition now is going to be an income-based tuition. There is a portal that is being built as we speak and will be ready so that parents and prospective parents coming into our system can go on to that portal and apply for a scholarship. As you apply for the scholarship will prompt, the system rather, will prompt you as to what information you need to provide, and then the system will then award the amounts of scholarship that you will benefit from. As we rebuild our system, ladies and gentlemen, it is important that across the board, all of our campuses, all the campuses of the Northeastern Adventist Academy should be offering the same electives and also the same after-school programs. We are re-emphasizing our STEM programs, our science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are re-emphasizing and refocusing on our STEAM programs, which is the science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We are also re-emphasizing our advanced placement courses at the high school level so that our children can graduate high school with a great advantage as they are entering into college. In addition to that, we are emphasizing the arts, making sure that our students can receive that aspect of their development, learning an instrument, learning singing abilities, praise dancing, etc. Also languages. We live in a diverse world today where it is so crucial that youngsters know more than one language. So we are emphasizing the languages of Spanish and also French in all of our campuses. Life skills, like for example, learning about money management, financial literacy, character building. The Adventist Church for many, many decades have developed a very efficient curriculum in our adventurers, our pathfinders, our master guides, our medical cadets, which as we incorporate them in our after school and electives, we will be being true to the building of character for now and for eternity. And why not? We need sports in our schools. Our children are active, they have energy, and we need to harness that energy to develop every aspect of their lives, their mind, their body, and their spirit. And the question has been asked, what about special education? Well, that is an area that we're also working on. We want to make sure that no child will be shut out from our system because of certain difficulties or challenges that they may be having. Therefore, we'll be emphasizing and making sure and providing oversight that all of our campuses may have proper special education specialists giving them the service that they need and deserve. We have assembled a volunteer marketing department that is helping us to build our marketing and also to project the messages that must go out so that everyone may get the good news of what is happening in the Northeastern Conference educational system. We are developing partnerships to recruit young talents, to integrate them within our system. So we are partnering with Oakwood University, Andrews University, La Sierra University, Washington Adventist University, so that young teachers in the making can come and intern with us in our school system, and so we can begin to prepare the next generation of teachers, recruit them into a system so that our children may have the best talent possible. My friends, true education does not ignore the value of scientific knowledge or literary acquirements. But above information, it values power. Above power, goodness. Above goodness, intellectual acquirements. But above intellectual acquirements, there is also character. The world does not need so much men of great intellect as much as noble character. It needs men and women in whom ability is controlled by a steadfast, principled character. So now, my friends, I end with this. I end where I started. No other educational system in the world can offer your children what the Adventist Christian educational system offers. And that is that this system, our system, the Northeastern Conference Adventist Academy, in any of its campus, is offering you the building of character in your children for now and for eternity. I implore you, make sure that your child is registered today. Start that process today. We want to have the opportunity to be a partner with you in the development of the character and education of your child for now, this life, and also for eternity. God bless.